Hello lovely people, I would never have imagined that on this channel we will be using a device such as this. But in this video we're going to have a look at Basshead Garage dB meter and we're going to try to measure an SQ system. So I would like to thank Basshead Garage for sending me this dB meter. It's not for a review. They didn't send it to me because they wanted to. I wanted this thing to measure my infinite baffle system because if you know, I'm planning to install two 18-inch subwoofers in infinite baffle and I want to see how loud does it get. Now this channel is focused purely SQ, but if I'm going to show this one, probably a few bassheads going to drop into the chat and potentially make some interesting comments. So bear in mind, this is an SQ system and we will be testing this on an SQ setup. SQ means that my system is optimized not for totally absolutely maximum output, but to be as clean as possible and to reproduce all frequencies the same. If you haven't watched my previous video, what I have literally three speakers. I have a subwoofer in here in the kick. This is Stereo Integrity BM11 and Infinite Baffle in the kick, vented through the firewall, and I have two of these Fatal Pro 4-inch wideband drivers. Now, everything is EQ'd to the target. That's why I had to pull quite a lot of level down. This is crossed with a low pass and a high pass as well, and EQ'd just a little bit, just to prove you that I don't have anything in the back, because they're gonna say, oh, you might have a subwoofer in the back or something. There's literally nothing in the back, just literally three speakers in the front. I'm powering everything using US Amps SQ442 amplifier. That is 2 channels for the mid-ranges and 2 channels bridged for the front subwoofer. As a processor, I have a Helix DSP Pro Mark III, and the source is Makeda Juju 7 head unit running digital into the DSP. So from the system design point of view, this is pure SQ. There's nothing SPL about this. And I was always interested, how loud can a system play? So for that purpose, we are using a dB meter or SPL meter. Now, the most popular one probably is going to be, I think it's called SPL Labs or something, and it costs a fortune. This is a budget version that does kind of the same. If we're talking about accuracy and calibration, I'm not going to comment on that. There's SPL people that are doing the comparison and reviews. For me, I just want to see if it's gonna pick up anything at all. So this device is very simple. It just has a little screen. BHG is Basshead Garage, DB meter. It has 2 suction cups, so you could stick it to the window. Now, Bassheads, if there's any of you in the chat, tell me why these things don't have a 45-degree or 60-degree angle. Why are they always looking down? They should have these suction cups on a tilt like that, so you could at least see the screen, because with this you cannot see anything. This thing can be powered with a plug where you have positive, negative, and a remote. It is simple Phoenix connector, I think it's included in the box, or you have a USB-C plug. So what I have a little power bank. So let's plug it in and see. Click, there we go. It doesn't look like it in real. Oh man, it doesn't show because of the frame rate. Yeah, this is what happens when the refresh rate of the screen matches your frame rate that you're filming at. Well, I can say that in reality, nothing is moving. You have SPL. At the moment, it shows low because there's no SPL in decibels, and it shows the frequency in hertz. So at the same time, it picks up the frequency and the SPL. If we're gonna have a look at the specs, amplitude range is from 120 dB up to 180. So it starts at 120 dB. If the sub doesn't reach 120 dB, it's not gonna read anything. And the frequency range is 10 to 100. So 10 hertz is perfect for infinite baffle, because my infinite baffle is going to be peaking at, I think, 14, 15, maybe 16 hertz, at least in another car, not sure about this one, and up to 100, yes. On top of that, I have this thing, which is a typical SPL meter. Now, what is the difference between this one and this one? The frequencies that it measures. This is a dBA scale, which cuts down all the low end. So basically, it doesn't measure anything low end. It measures a higher frequency. So with this one, we can check how loud the mid-ranges play. And with this one, we can check how loud the subwoofer plays. Now, the problem with my system, as I mentioned, it is an SQ system, so I don't have strong power supply. At the moment, I don't know if you will be able to see, it's LEDs again, you cannot see anything, but it shows 13.3. There we go. Now you can see. So it shows 13.3 volts because I am charging it with a 25 amp charger. So the voltage on full tilt with this drops down to like 10.5 volts just because the AGM battery, this is a single AGM battery and nothing else. It doesn't keep up with a Class AB amplifier that needs quite a lot of current. Man, you won't be able to see anything. So in this video, I want to try to measure the subwoofer and the high frequency driver performances just to see how much they go on full tilt. The problem that I'm having is that I cannot use the typical normal measuring method because as much as I've seen people on SPL channels like Parker the Basshead or EXO or some others, they're measuring either on the windshield, either in the kick. The problem is that my subwoofer is in the kick. So it's not really fair because the meter will be literally in front of the subwoofer, just in front of the cone. So I don't know how fair it is. Another problem is that if I'm gonna put it here at the listening position, it's not gonna pick up anything because I tried and it's not loud enough. So it doesn't go up to 120 dB, mainly because there's literally no loading. I have a little bit loading from the kick, but it's not like you would have a subwoofer in the very back in the boot where you would have like 10-15 dB gain. Plus it's not a ported, it's infinite baffle, so it doesn't go loud at all. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna literally hold the meter like here and just show you how it is. However, for this one, we can put it here just like that, just for us to see if we can measure anything. So if I'm gonna shut up, it's about 36, 38 dB. Now, when I'm driving on a motorway, I think it goes up to like 68 or 70 dB. So without any further ado, let's try. Now, for this purpose, I will be playing some royalty-free music because I don't want to risk my video being taken down. I have my controller here. Okay, so this song's supposed to have bass at a little bit of high frequency, about 40 to 50 hertz. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank it up full tilt because now you can see it's on half, and I'm gonna show you what this reads and if we can catch anything with this one. So you could see that it barely reaches 120. Let's try a different one with a little bit lower frequency. Okay, so it's not the best experience. It's nothing like I expected just because I cannot pick up the refresh rate of this meter on the phone, and that's a big massive problem. How'd you guys film this? I tried my phone to film on 60 hertz at 30 hertz automatic. It doesn't pick up anything, so I really cannot show you. Bloody hell. Okay, so I just grabbed another phone, and what I noticed, like if you try to film in broad daylight, it does this. If you go where it's a bit darker, it shows everything. So okay, it's interesting. Let me try to do that again. Okay, let's try to do this way. Let me crank up the volume. down. I'm just gonna swap for a different song, and let's try again. Okay, so there we go. I dropped it. So it was something like this, and you saw we have 124, 125. So again, it's not really fair. I cannot say that we're gonna have exactly the same at the headrest, but this is not a burp, not a sine tone. This is on music at, and you saw 29, 30 hertz. Can we try a little burp? Like, I'm not a bass head. I don't do these things, but for education, we can try. Because I know that it plays something. Let's try 30 hertz. There we go. Let's crank it up. Can we measure anything? Not really. A bit louder. There we go. It's 121 on 30. Let's go high 35. Okay, 124. Can I see the voltage? What's happening with the voltage? Yeah, 12.3. 12.3. So yeah, the voltage is, this is stock electrical, 40 hertz. Yeah, something like that. Okay, yeah, so, oh man, it's very hot. Yes, stock electrical, 3 speakers, 11-inch subwoofer, an infinite baffle kick. It's very difficult to interpret the results, but at least I can trigger this thing. Man, come on, show something. Why are you like this? There we go. You have to film it in the dark almost, because otherwise it's not going to show anything. But yeah, at least I can trigger this thing. And this is how my SQ system performs. The device itself, it works fine. It does pick up everything. Holding the meter here, I could pick up like 120, 122. So it just barely touches it. So how loud is my SQ system? If you saw here, it's about 95 to 100 decibels on the higher frequencies. And my target curve is tuned in a way that it has a bass rise of about 20 dB up. So it's just about 100 below 100, so it's just about below 120. Is it loud compared to SPL results? Obviously not, but it's going to be very fun if we would try this with a subwoofer in the back, because 11-inch subwoofer and infinite baffle cannot reach the levels of a ported box in the back. And just to be clear, I'm doing this not because I want to go into SPL ranks or like to cater to bass heads or anything like this. What I want is to bring you a little bit more value in my reviews and maybe give an understanding of SPL levels in general, and just to give you an example of how my system is performing. So your opinions: 3 speakers, 1 amplifier, 500 watts for the subwoofer, and I'm reaching 95 to 100 and about like, I want to say like 115, 110 dB at the headrest for the bass, down to 30 hertz. I want to hear, is that something that you measured? And I know bass is gonna jump, is like, oh, my single 8-inch can do 140 in the back and that kind of stuff. But again, this is not an SPL system, this is an SQ system. Normal listening levels are about 85 to 90 dB, so this does more than normal. Obviously not as much as the Insignia did before, and not as much as it will do when I finish with this system. But again, I'm very sorry that I cannot show you anything that's happening here, but I hope this was a short and fun video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Again, thank you very much, Basshead Garage, and I will see you in the next one, guys.